They can secure themselves 3 victories. They are champions of the tournament. So, yours, Mehdi. Yours versus Alpha Alphas, because that's the games deciding the winner of the tournament, or at least the chances of other teams to get the win. If Alpha Alphas win this, they are automatically the winner. So, if you take them down, you have good chances to getting the victory yourself, as then your Buchholz Median will be pretty good. Or I'm not quite sure if with 3 rounds the Buchholz actually works out. But we have to see. We have to see. But pretty sure in round 3 it should kick in. Yeah, now we have a chance of looking onto the fleets of the players. Where's the rest of the fleets? Didn't I copy them all in here? Oh, maybe I missed that. No, they're all supposed to be in here. What the hell? Copied them all in here. Oh, they're named after the in-game name. Changing the name. Ah, no. That's annoying. Changing the file name outside of the game doesn't change the name in here. Okay, so that I have to learn for the next tournament. But yeah. One of the fleets we will see now, trying to stop the two battleships, is this one. The White Shark with 2 beam destroyers. So it will be more CQC combat in the final game here. Whilst it will not be missiles versus the both battleships. And we saw this fleet already taking, this composition already taking down 2 battleships earlier today. So they might be able to do it once more. Should be one hell of a match. Yeah. On the other side, we have the updated holo. Where is it? Updated holo, 3K BB. Okay, so next time I have to do it, the renaming inside the game as well. And this is the Carnage Incarnate that we saw. And how many damage control teams does it actually have? 15 teams. 5 rapid DC lockers. Only 2 large, 2 reinforced. That's less than I expected. I expected more large ones, less rapid. I feel like rapid teams are good, but they get worse in bigger numbers. They're just there to like get modules from getting completely destroyed. But as they can't restore, I feel like they get worse in bigger numbers. You only want to have like 2 or 3 to stop your reactors from going into explosion, or like getting your guns from getting completely taken out. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Green, for the heads up. Yes, the CR75 antenna. An extra antenna, right? No, that's the integrated one. Okay, so no extra antenna. What is the radar on this? Propulsion, hull, weapons. There's radar in here. No sensors. Does it have? It does have a radar, right? Does it not have a radar? Damn, that ship doesn't have a radar. So that's interesting. So he's fully reliant on these, which have a bullseye radar, which we saw earlier, to give the Carnage Incarnate good fire solutions. That's why this ship also didn't hit too well. Makes it harder to see, yeah. But also makes it harder for itself to see. Interesting. Yeah, I have seen some ships like this before, but yeah, interesting. So if it doesn't get any other ship that gives its fire solution, these ships' guns will be really, really inaccurate. Interesting choice. Interesting choice. As the next game should be up. Okay. The belt is the map, yeah. Belt is the map. Do we have the game lobby open? Okay, Alpha Alpha versus Admirals is the game we're going for. As word is in. We are in as well. And let's get ready. Another custom-made map. The map makers overall already doing a really good job in this game. We don't have too many yet, but the ones we already got are pretty nice. I like Aurora quite a bit. That was the first one we saw today. And now we're going into the belt, which has a bit of an issue with, yeah, this yellow background is a bit annoying. It's a bit, especially together with the fog, it becomes a bit annoying to look into. But overall, I like the rock formations on this map a hell of a lot. Whilst Nucleus is quite funny as well, which is just a big global station that you might know from The Expanse in the middle that you have to fight around. And the Mars map also seems like it will be quite interesting. Which is not the planet Mars, like it's above the planet Mars with one big rock in the center. And yeah, we will put ourselves on this side because yeah, looking all the time into this, not the best. But I mean, you could even use that as effective tool, like basically World War I plane strategy, or like overall like propeller dogfight strategy with planes being the hunt from the sun, coming out of the direction of the bright shining light. Might help you in this game as well. There's no heat signature of this though, so yeah, it doesn't affect any missiles or no electronic frequency or heat signature coming out of this. It's just a visual effect, but even that you might be able to use. Overall, like the rest of the visuals I like quite a bit. Fog also doesn't have any gameplay implementations, but I feel like for me it looks pretty cool at least. I hope you like it as well. As we go into this game now. On one side, we have the two battleships that you already knew from the last round. On the other side, we have the ships we saw in the first round. The Sea Shark, together with 5 destroyers and one little jamming corvette with a radar. It should be a hell of a match. Can Carnage Incarnate and the Southern Fortress do it again? Who will win it? The Destroyer Spam Fleet or the two battleships? Are battleships still overpowered? Or is it the era of the beam destroyers? Yeah. No radar on ships. Like, I would say battleships might need a bigger signature without, like, even visual, like, maybe visual ranges need to improve as well a bit. Like, I'm pretty sure you can see a battleship like this even on 14 kilometers, just with visual tools in space. Like, sure, there might not be as much background light as on Earth, so seeing stuff in space is a bit tougher, maybe. But, yeah. And range is obviously also somewhat fictionalized, but visual ranges on this should be a bit longer as well, maybe. White Shark is moving in. But they need to be careful. They are already in a position where they can be fired upon. This map has 5 points. Once more though, none of the points are close to the spawns. We only have 5 points split up in the middle. 2 on each side, 1 in the middle. Dead center, the B point. And the scout is already going for that one. Which will... ships flying closer in. And these ships have to be careful. Like I said, already in a position where they could be fired upon. Trying to get up to Alpha. And maybe they could come if they don't get spotted, but they already got spotted. Okay, Thunderhead's already on the way. Let's see how the point defense works on the destroyers. Because I guess that's what these Thunderheads will go for. Auroras are on top of them already. Getting 1. Getting 2. Getting 3. And there's still quite a bit of range. Ooh, riposte's already being shot out. Bit of waste of riposts there. But there's not too many missiles in the enemy fleet. So, as we saw last time, that was not really the issue. Blue team's missiles are there. And if you get caught off guard, you might get hit by them. But it's really not the big danger coming out of the double battleship fleet. It's really more about the railgun and the 11 guns on this one, together with the survivability. Ooh, and a lot of Thunderheads now going for the scout, which is a bit of a waste. Maybe a bit of an overreaction, especially as the chefs seem to be able to deal with all of them. Yeah, this is a waste of perfectly fine Thunderheads. Oh no, even more coming in. That's 12 Thunderheads. Wasted without even getting the kill there. Allowing the scout to go even further. Yeah, maybe not the best idea there. On the side of Aris. Firing these. And they are now in range of the Incarnate. Thunderheads getting eliminated over here. Some friendly fire here with the AA. But that doesn't scratch the Southern Fortress. What an interesting battle. Start to this battle. Thunderheads already missing, but these fleets, if they can get closer, might be able to put some pressure onto the battleships. The White Shark is now opening fire on the southern fortress, but has to be careful. You don't want to be on the receiving end of these railguns. The 3 destroyers also still quite out in the open, together with the 1 frigate. Well, they seem to have stopped here for a second, as they don't seem to know where to go just yet. Going forward it is. They have stopped, and the enemy is capturing points, so they need to be a bit more active here. I mean, they started similar in their first game, and they're getting similarly close to 2 battleships, and this time they even have a better chance of winning in CQC combat, because the other side doesn't have beam turrets on their battleships. And if they get close, the Thunderheads also will once more be as deadly, I think, as they have been last time. Issue is, though, as chefs don't work against close range missile fire. Issue this time, though, is that there's more stuff around, and that they already got detected on longer range, and the destroyers are not moving. And I don't quite get that. Squalls coming in from the other side now. Riposts going out. Thunderheads now flying for the southern fortress. Or Carnage Incarnate, rather. Chefs going out. Going out maybe a bit late. Heavy cruiser and destroyers are firing. Yeah. But chefs, most of them still working out. And this Thunderhead barrage will not be as deadly in game as in game number 1. So the beams will have to do more work. The question is, will they get in beam range even? As more Thunderheads fly for the southern fortress. Southern fortress also getting chefs out. Thunderheads over here will get killed off as well. Yeah, this Thunderhead barrage nowhere near as effective as it was in game number 1. Only 1 or 2 missile hits instead of 20 or 30. And now the destroyers are under heavy fire. And I'm not quite sure what's happening here. Why is he not moving? Does Aris have some problems, or what's going on? Why? Like, this feels odd. Okay, beam is on now. But I would have expected him to get a bit closer and to be more coordinated. They're getting into alpha, but these destroyers are now completely out of position together with the heavy battleship. Aris now trying to disengage, but that's too late. This is not good movement here on the side of Aris. Already losing his corvette. Now getting fired upon by both battleships as his Ivor corvette got killed off. And this force is completely out of position to help out. These destroyers are out in the open, so at least one of them will die before it will get out. The other 2 might get lit up quite heavily as well, which is not a good start to this battle at all. Thunderheads not effective whatsoever, and they are now in a really bad position. I'm not sure why they didn't keep on moving towards A, then coming around, maybe opening up with the Thunderheads from up here where they are closer, but the chefs will not be as effective, and then also are in beam range. Now trying to get away with the destroyers as we come around over here. The White Shark now opening fire onto the southern fortress, but already gets fired upon as well, and he can tell you who will win this engagement without the beam destroyers in the equation. So the beam destroyers need to come around, but they are quite slow. They're still flying in formation. Oh no. Micro on the side here is a bit lacking. And their destroyers here needed to get closer. Like, even if they would have flown directly for the opponent, they might have done more. But Thunderhead Barrage came out too early, gave the other side too much room to evade. And this here also doesn't look too good. Like, why are these... Yeah, these destroyers are now trying to get in closer. But they are in trouble. Whilst blue is on the way to capturing 4 points already. And 4 points tick up quite quickly. That's 8 points all 5 seconds. And you go up to 1000 points quite quickly with that. Not gonna do the quick math right now, because you don't do math on streams. Rule number 1 on Twitch: don't do math. But it's for sure not good. Not looking too hot here for the orange team, as blue is pummeling this destroyer now. It's not quite dead yet, but it's in a tough spot. And this force over here could engage the railgun ship. I'm pretty sure that it could do quite some damage here, but they are a bit too careful, I would say. They could, if they would go for head-on engagement, I feel like they would have a good shot at beating these 2 battleships, but instead they ran. Which is weird, because they had the experience of game number 1, where they just directly, straightforward, ran into the 2 battleships and destroyed them. So I'm not quite sure what makes them consider otherwise this time. At least they dodged the missile shots here, trying to get into a different position, but as I said, now 4 points ticking against them, only 1 point ticking for them. And the 2 battleships are still mighty fine here, and now are fully aimed up onto the ship on top as well. 2 ships down for the blue team, all ships still fine. 2 ships down for the orange team, all ships still fine for the blue team. While the scout might now get lit up by the guns on the destroyers. Can't take this for too long. So the destroyers splitting up just like in the first game, where they tried to capture some points. I guess that might be the goal now. Trying to defend Alpha with the formation on top of the hill. And trying to get 2 more points with the other destroyers, which should win the engagements against these ships. But the Deus Woe might be up, but might be a nasty surprise for the gold tail. We will see if the reaction of Ares will be quick enough once these missiles start flying. And yeah, the scout is on the way out of this match. Doesn't even get beamed. Against the Deus Woe, beams would be effective. Here it's not really needed. The guns will do the job over time. Seems like engine is dead. Nope, not quite. But as you can see, a lot of holes in this hull already. So yeah, I guess this is the name of the game here. Trying to get the censorships. And losing the poor care would be really, really bad for the battleships. Losing another censorship, especially for the one without the radar, would be quite bad. At least they got rid of the of the jammer ship, which puts a lot of stress on, which was able to make this ship really inaccurate and blind as well. The Carnage incarnate. But if it doesn't have any other sensors working for it, doesn't really need to be jammed. And the poor care is taking poor care of. Was quite out of position here, it seems like. I don't quite get this move. Why moving out into the open now with your destroyers? I like the idea here of capturing E, capturing C. Ooh, Noble Arrow in trouble. Getting hit here by some railgun shots. And they hit. They hit quite well, as the radar on this ship still seems to be quite functional, being aimed on the Noble Arrow, giving its information So it needs to be eliminated ASAP. Beam of the Noble Arrow is trying to get on target, but it gets outmaneuvered by Deist Voe. And this is not good at all for the Noble Arrow. Can it get its beam shot onto it? One beam shot on the Deist Voe most likely would end its capabilities of sending information and giving the radar signal. It seems like the Southern Fortress also stopped firing. Okay. Meanwhile, the poor Care is still getting lit up. It's trying to get out. But it might not make it. But yeah, this I don't understand. Why moving out with the destroyers now? This is a really bad move. You just need to defend A, capture 2 points over here with your destroyers, and then all the enemy can do is move out of position with his battleships. Either try to move up to you to A, and then he gets beamed up, but sacrificing your beam destroyers is the worst move you can do right now. I just don't get Orange Team's moves. Like, all the moves they did so far seem to be wrong from a tactical perspective when it comes to their advantages versus the enemy's advantages. They want to get into CQC, so either they could have just rushed on instead of just standing in open terrain over here, or they could have just waited up here till the enemy needs to come because they need to capture points. But it seems like they got a bit impatient here and tried to go for the enemy, but that's exactly what the battleships wanted them to do. And so this is already a dead destroyer, and this heavy cruiser alone can't defend A, so then the battleships can come in here and win it on their own. This is just a really weird move. Thought they salvaged the situation just fine with the split up over here to C and E, but now they're throwing it away again, which is just weird. Yeah, now both of these destroyers will just get eliminated, and then these 2 destroyers need to come around again and need to somehow get close to A, because otherwise A will just be overrun by the 2 battleships. Yeah, the White Shark now will be under fire as well. Doesn't need to fire onto the poor Care anymore. Poor Care already has been taken care of. But yeah, this move was really bad. Like, why losing your 2 destroyers? What was the goal here even? What were they trying to achieve? Like, there's no points here. They would have gone around the long way and maybe tried to go for B. Could have gotten that. But even then would not have been a good idea. But just moving through open space into the enemy. Oof. Yeah, this makes it from a position where I thought Orange Team was ahead to a situation where Orange Team once more is in a position where it can't deal with battleships. And not being able to deal with battleships is quite tough. And this time it's 2 battleships. So last time it only was 1 battleship when they had 2 beam destroyers and their heavy cruiser left. But this time it's 2 battleships, which seems just to be too much. I mean, they have now the 3 points that I was talking about, but the other team already has ticked up quite heavily as well, so even that might not be enough to win the game now. As I said, not doing math on stream. You can do that math for yourself. I feel like it will be really close if it stays at this, but now the Carnage Incarnate can just go for Alpha. And the White Shark will not win this duel. If it would have 2 beam destroyers, it would easily win this. Without 2 beam destroyers that just got sacrificed for really achieving absolutely 0. Like they achieved completely nothing at all by dying out here. Other than maybe wasting a bit of ammunition, but I'm pretty sure Carnage Incarnate and the Southern Fortress have plenty of ammunition. So yeah, this was a really weird choice. Deist Voe is dying now, so it's only the 2 battleships against 3 ships of the enemy. So if they play hide and seek well here, they might win that. But yeah, you shouldn't stay in fire of a battleship here with your White Shark. And these 2 battleships have so much more firepower now. Like 4 beam destroyers versus and a heavy cruiser versus 2 battleships, I would say is somewhat even if you do it correctly. But this is not somewhat even anymore. This is just being completely outgunned here. And the heavy cruiser is not moving into cover. Why is it not moving away? No, you don't want to take this gunfight here. Oh god. Yeah, the moves by Maddie were complete disaster. The other team wasted their scout chips a bit. And as I said, after Aris got caught out in the open, he at least moved quite well afterwards. But ooh, now Goldtail gets hit out in the open, so that's another destroyer gone in a second. And yet after that, I feel it's pretty over. I feel it's pretty over. And it's just such a weird move. I mean, I get the Thunderhead maneuver a bit. Thinking maybe we can overwhelm them with Thunderheads. I guess they haven't seen the game before. I don't quite get stopping your destroyers over here in the open. But at least the move to the right, after realizing, oh yeah, they have two battleships here, they shouldn't have much over here, is fine. And I somewhat got that Maddie went up to A. But he just should have stayed up here. And then the Carnage Incarnate would have popped up, he could have beamed it with two beam destroyers and hit it with the heavy cruiser. Which would have overwhelmed the Carnage Incarnate. But now, 1v1, the Carnage Incarnate wins this easily. So, yeah. Goldtail tries to get the hell out of there, but it's also, its beam is gone. Basically all the systems are gone, so this will not help out in any fight. Now all the Carnage Incarnate has to do is capturing Alpha. And they are still quite ahead in points as well, so he has quite some time to capture this point.
The enemy is securing Zone Atlas.
Yeah, this was a weird move. With the two. Really don't understand this move at all. What was the goal here? Did he think he would not be detected? But that was 5 kilometers range. He even beamed them once and then he decided to not beam them anymore and just fly over. Big throw in my eyes. And once more, solid game from the other team. 2 battleships not getting hit by any of the missiles. Good micro there. Waiting their time. Opening up fire. Capturing, putting pressure onto the other team by capturing the points. Dodging it with the scout. If the scout would have been hit by missiles at the beginning, would have been a quite different game as well, I would say. But it didn't. Was able to capture some points. And now Alpha is captured. The White Shark is going down. It doesn't have any capabilities of defending itself here whatsoever. And yeah, you don't repair faster than 11 heavy guns deal damage to you. So this game is over. And with that, we will have a winner. The Alphas will win this tournament. Leclerc and Daniel on a really good way here of getting this game under their control. A single, even with the Noble Arrow, and the Noble Arrow doesn't look too healthy, would be able to use its beam. The railgun destroyer, railgun ship will just speed it up. It's only one ship capable of fighting. Even under the best circumstances, a single destroyer doesn't stand a chance against a battleship. Even in CQC, against 4 railgun turrets, you will not win this fight. And yeah, the Southern Fortress gets the C point. A point is captured. And with that, his game is on a good way to being over. And I really thought they had a brilliant plan after, getting caught out in the open. The A plan looked so good. Forcing 2 battleships to be around here. With a bit of micro, being able to only fight versus one of them. Whilst beaming it and hitting it with the heavy cruiser. And then forcing the other one to hunt down the 2 destroyers, which could dodge it. Or lose all the other 4 points. Like, that felt so good, but then I guess they just got spooked by the points up top. And decided to send the 2 destroyers over. Like, really, the decision making there was quite flawed. Surprised this ship is not dead yet. Like, it gets hit by 11 gunshots every minute. No, not every minute, every like 15 seconds or so. Like 40 gunshots per minute. Hitting it. Okay, now there we go. White Shark is out of action as well, and now it's down to 2 heavily damaged light destroyers to try to turn this around, and that's not gonna happen. Spoiler alert. Visual bug here. C point is captured. The one up top matters. Yeah. Game is tough, yeah. And 2 battleships are always scary to fight against. You always need to think about how to beat them. Because if you just run in, yeah, this is what's gonna happen. They have a lot of firepower, but they are slow. They are hard to maneuver. And they did a good job of taking out the scout ships. Like, taking... the enemy did a big mistake by leaving the poor care out in the open. Taking that out, I thought, would give them a really, really big advantage. Because, first of all, one less ship that can take points back. And they were running out of other ships, so they only had the 2 battleships left that would have been then running around. And battleships running around, especially ones without beams, can be easily ambushed. So, as I said, I really like the idea up here in Alpha. Of just staying here, defending this point. And then the 2 destroyers moved over and split up. And like, splitting this force up is just not a good idea against battleships. You need to split their attention, you need to overwhelm them with firepower. But yeah, that didn't happen, and now these battleships will get the victory. And it seems like we're still living in a battleship meta. As, yeah, they got nerfed today, but they're still really, really powerful. And the arrow, the noble arrow, seems to be targeted here now. Southern Fortress seems to have a line of sight. Getting its gun turrets into position. Not the fastest gyros, but it's on target now with its guns, I would say. Maybe not. Maybe it lost line of sight again? What happened here? No, there we go. And this is not healthy. Oh, 6 railguns? 7. 7 railguns. Which will do short process with it here. As they have quite a good fire rate as well. I guess quite a couple of ammunition elevators on that battleship. Which leaves it to only the gold tail afterwards. And we are closing in on 500 points here. Did its job here. Noble Arrow will have to evacuate any second now. As the Noble Sound Fortress even has a good angle at which none of the shots over penetrate here. And yeah, there goes the Noble Arrow. Another ship down. Gold Tail is trying to come around. Trying to sneak on some points. But yeah, GG, VP. Game number 3 as well. Going out of this tournament with clean sheets. And taking the victory here. As no other team can catch them with this result. Well played by both of them. Anorix 21, thanks for the follow. And yeah, what a game. What damage dealt by the Kanajin there, pulling up the heavy cruiser of Medi. But yeah, this move by Benny with the destroyers was just sealing the deal. Like, yeah, the Hard-Riled getting caught out in the open was not a good start for the destroyer team. But the catch on these ships was so good. Catching the Scout, catching the Poor Care, catching the Deus Duo. And yeah, Southern Fort was 28k damage. Did the job. But GGVP, Eris and Medi. In the end, going down in the tournament 1-2, but at least gave us a really, really good game number 1, which already showed us a really good start into the series. The other game was already but nobody can stop the Alphas anymore. They have 3 victories. Everyone else already got a loss at some point, at least. So they take the victory in the first tournament. So congratulations here to Blacklight and Daniel in taking the first ever tournament in Nebulous. GGVP here. Yeah, but yeah, you moved them on the wrong side of the asteroid. But even then, I felt like your position up on Alpha was really, really scary for them.